Hi there, thanks for tuning in to watch my presentation. My name's Treflyn Jones, and since January 2019 I've been on one amazing journey. My journey started as a result of my being extremely overweight. My weight then at that time was 20 stone 5 pounds, and I've always been prone to putting on weight, and I've always managed to lose it. So I would find it really annoying to lose weight and then I'd be back where I started. I got really fed up with this. So I decided that I wanted to do something about it, seriously. So I embarked on a journey of discovering what it exactly was that was causing me to put weight on and how our bodies reacted to weight loss. But that's the topic of another video, which I've already presented, and it's up there on YouTube. But today what I want to talk to you about is how this journey has taken me to where I am right here now, speaking to you. As a result of my desire to lose this weight, I ended up looking at many videos on YouTube, and I came across a video about eating one meal a day, and then that led me on to watching videos by Jason Fung and Ivor Cummins, Dr. Eric Berg. I eventually came across Dr. David Unwin, and that led me down to Dr. Joanne McCormack. And these are just a few of the people whose videos really impacted on me. I was fortunate enough to meet up with Dr. Joe in around about, I think it was May of 2019. And I was having a chat with Dr. Joe, and she told me that she was looking to set up more groups in the Warrington area. And obviously I just wanted to get involved. I was keen to learn more, and having an expert right on my doorstep, because obviously living in Warrington, who wouldn't want to get to know Dr. Joe? And she's a lovely lady. So I was invited along to her monthly support groups, and I learnt a lot from that, from attending the groups. And then Dr. Joe said to me she wanted to open up new groups in Warrington, and I was very keen on her coming along to a group that I was already involved with, nothing to do with low carb or anything like that. And so anyway, the result of that was I ended up finding a venue, and Dr. Joe said she wanted to have a weekly meeting, and I said, who's going to run that for you? And she said, I don't know. And I heard myself say, I'll do it. So there I was, I volunteered to step into the gap and into a place that I'd never ever been before. So obviously I started to attend Dr. Joe's meetings and saw exactly what she was doing, and she's very keen to help people, and she would go to a lot of trouble, and she'd take along products, tins along, explain the food labelling system, how to read the carbohydrates, and she has quite a collection of tins. So I started looking around thinking, well, I need to do something like this. And the handouts that she had, so I started gathering my own range of handouts together. And wanting to have people to come and attend my meeting, it was important that I had some means of getting the message out there. So in conjunction with Dr. Joe, I designed a leaflet, a simple A5 leaflet, as you can see. And I posted these to houses nearby the venue that I was going to use for the meeting. I also used Facebook to promote it on there, and like everybody should do, invite your friends and family, because I'll tell you now, every one of them needs to hear this message. So if you only speak to the people in your friends and family, that can be life-changing for them. And then they will go and tell their friends and tell their friends, and so that's the way it could grow. That's one way of doing it. So the day came that I was going to start my first meeting, and Dr. Joe got her meeting in the morning, so I went along. And Dr. Joe mentioned to the delegates, or to the people who were attending her meeting, that I was going to have my first meeting that very afternoon. And I was, to say the least, a bit nervous about it. I wasn't nervous about speaking to people, because I'm well used to public speaking, having worked as a sales trainer. I spent 20 years as a professional entertainer, and I'm also a Christian speaker and evangelist. So speaking to people is not a problem. What was worrying me was what I was going to say and how I was going to say it, because this was new territory for me. So anyway, the day came, and so Dr. Jo had mentioned to her group that I was going to be starting my meeting. And at the end of the meeting, 2 people came up and spoke to me. And they introduced themselves, and one was Daxa Jobhamputra, and the other person was Keith Rathbone. And they explained that they were ambassadors and a patron for the public health collaboration. I didn't know what that was. But they did say, is there any way we can help? And I thought, wow, this is fantastic. This is amazing. So there we go. That was the beginning of the first meeting. So the first meeting went great. We had a fabulous turnout of people. And in all fairness to Keith and to Daxa, they never took over. They let me run the meeting, and they stepped in when I asked them to, and they were more and more supportive all the time. And Keith and I built up a good relationship, as I did with Daxa, but Keith lives in Warrington. And so he started attending my regular weekly meetings, and that was a great help. So when it comes to running meetings, what is it exactly that we need? Well, again, food cans with a labelling system, explain to the people who attend about the way to read the labels on food that we eat. We also need handouts and leaflets. So again, I scoured the internet looking for handouts and leaflets, things I could put together. As a result of having spent hours and hours watching YouTube, I also use YouTube videos as a means of educating them, because I'm not a doctor. I'm no medical experience or training. But the one thing I did do at the beginning of every meeting, I made sure that everybody understood I was not giving medical advice, because I didn't want anybody suing me. And so over a period of time, you know, the meetings were going really well, and we had a good turnout. And then people started bringing in little tidbits of food that they prepared. And my wife, Anne, who's been absolutely amazing all the way through my journey, she was getting more and more involved. And she also did some little cookery demonstrations as well. And that was really helpful. So we had a really good group going on. Keith also managed to introduce me to a group in Leeds run by Glyn and Sarah. And again, that was amazing, just going over there, seeing how other people run the groups. Then I met up with Andy Bishop. I was invited to attend his group over in Merseyside. And again, Andy came and attended my group meetings and spoke. And other ambassadors came along from time to time. So it was really, really good. As with any group meetings, people come and people go. Then I realised that some people can't attend afternoon meetings. They can only attend evening meetings. So I looked around for another venue in Warrington, and I know the principal at Warrington Disability Partnership, a great guy called Dave Thompson. I approached Dave, and he allowed us to use his facility.
Here with Anne, and we're in Evelyn Street in Warrington, and we're leafleting to put these leaflets through the door about our Wednesday night meeting. So if you want people to turn up at your meetings, you've got to do the groundwork, and that means getting these into people's houses. So that's what we're going to do with it, Anne.
Yep.
And Anne just loves it, don't you?
Yeah, love it.
Okay, bye.
So there I was running a weekly meeting on a Monday afternoon and a weekly meeting on a Wednesday evening. And then a lady called Mel Horn, who I met whilst I attended the Public Health Collaboration training day with Sam Feltham, she came along to the Wednesday evening meeting. So there were 2 of us running that meeting, but it was really, really good. Anyway, Mel went off and she started setting up and running her own group. So now in Warrington, we had quite a few low-carb groups. Mel had a meeting once a week. I had 2 meetings every week. And Dr. Jo had her monthly meeting. And then we found another venue so that Dr. Jo was now running 2 monthly meetings. And Dr. Jo would come along from time to time and attend my monthly meeting so that people could ask her the medical questions. In October 2019, I discovered that was National Diabetes Month, and I have good connections with Warrington Market, so I approached the market and I asked them if we could have a stall free of charge to run an event called
Warrington Diabetes Reversal Day.
So they agreed to that, and I produced some posters and some leaflets. And they also put together a questionnaire, and I did this obviously in conjunction with other people. The day came, and we had a really, really great turnout, and we were able to sit down with people who came over to the stall, speak to them, get information from them, get them to fill in the forms, and that was really, really good. With Christmas coming on, the attendances started to wane a little bit, so I decided to close down the meetings until the new year. But I didn't resurrect them in the new year. And then coronavirus came along, and I thought, and we need to be doing something. We need to be doing something. Now, the one thing that I need to mention at this stage is that I also have a support group on Facebook called Keep Fat Club. And so by now, the Keep Fat Club had got members in it, and we had good interaction with the people there. And then I set up on YouTube a video channel
Called Warrington Low Carb Group.
and I was putting videos up. I was creating playlists with Dr. Eric Berg, with Ivor Cummins, Joanne McCormack, David Unwin, lots and lots of other people. A good resource for people who wanted to know more. Because as I say, you know, no good asking me. I haven't got all the answers. I wish I had, but I haven't. I only know what works for me, and that's all I can say. But anyway, back to the meetings. Then coronavirus came along, and we all know what happened then. No more meetings anyway. So I couldn't resurrect the meetings. So I started running the meetings on Zoom. And again, made contact with the people that we had come into the meetings in the community centre. Because every time a person came in, I gave them a form to fill in with the name of the doctor, their name, their telephone number. So we had some basic information about them. And I was able to keep in touch with these people. So again, I was able to encourage them to join us on the Zoom meetings. So we still have these Zoom meetings going now, and they take place every Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And we have a good turnout. I mean, I don't want 30 or 40 people on Zoom. It's too big and it's too complicated to manage.
Yeah, I think support group meetings are essential because they reinforce what you've heard from the doctors, and they allow you to regularly or frequently talk to other people and compare notes. You know, and it's not that we're telling each other what to do, but by telling people what we've done, it helps other people think about whether that could be appropriate for them. And that's the line I try and take whenever I'm talking. But, you know, this is what I'm doing. It's not for me to say if that would suit you, but you can try and work it out if you know what I do, and if you know what as many other people as you can listen to do as well.
I think it is a journey, and it's a journey, you know, not necessarily of experts, but of people that become experts in their own ill health and how to grip it and take responsibility and go forward. And I think that is a very, very valuable thing to do, because we're all encouraging each other to do that. So I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, I've enjoyed seeing your meals on Facebook on the page, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Actually putting them up back on Facebook, haven't you? There's some really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Good.
A lot of times, like what Melody's been baking, you know, I've been like doing a bit of the stir fries, you know, but then the
That's
chicken
nice.
meals and all that, Mel's been doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's really good that we can meet up like this and get information, and really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the fact that it's really nice to connect with people that I've not met before, apart from John and Lynn, and to be able to share things, it's, for me personally, it's about having a platform to talk, because, you know, I think my family and my friends are fed up to the back teeth of me, you know, wanting to talk about it, because I'm so passionate and so enthusiastic about it. Thank you for, you know, having an hour of being able to share with people who are happy to listen and share and listen to their stories on the same journey.
What's really helpful by having a support group, I think it's the one positive of COVID, is the fact that this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for us all being isolated. So we never would have met. I would never have got to talk to any of you guys. I'm obviously quite far away from most of you. So but also it's I think there's so much in the keto low carb world now that it can be a bit overwhelming for new people. So it's quite good, I think, when new people join us, that we can guide them where to start, and then you can stick your head down the rabbit hole as much as you want, you know, and it's entirely up to you, but it is quite good. Yeah, so I just think it's brilliant, and I really enjoy every Monday afternoon meeting up.
Each and every one of us has a totally different journey.
Yes.
And we can only walk in our own shoes, but sometimes we need somebody else's help and experience to take us into an area of expertise that we haven't been to before. And we all know it's easy to flounder and take on bad advice or advice that isn't going to be helpful. So I think speaking to other people enables us to share, gives us an opportunity to share, to listen and to learn. And then Dr. Joanne McCormack, she comes along at regular intervals. And so people can, again, save up their medical questions for Dr. Joe. So it's been quite an interesting journey for me. Now, in November of 2019, Dr. Joe had arranged to hold a seminar for doctors, which was to be held at a hospital in Warrington called Aspire. And I was invited to go along and speak. And I said, well, you know, why do you want me to come along and speak? What can I say? And Dr. Joe reminded me that what I have done by losing 9 stone in 12 months is something that doctors haven't done. They haven't been down my road. And she reminded me that I was an expert by experience, right? So that was really, really important to me, that I could go and speak about my own personal journey.
So I think I'm right in saying you were 21 stone, is that right? And now you've lost about 8, nearly 8.
I was 20 stone 5 on the 11th of January. And this shirt would not fit me. It was too small, so it wouldn't fit me. So obviously, you know, I had clothes. I wasn't going to throw them away. So I thought, right, I have to have some feedback and I need to measure. And there's 2 things I can measure, well, 3 things. Number 1, my weight. Number 2, the clothes that don't fit me. And number 3, how do I feel about my journey? So this is the shirt that wouldn't fit me. So I attended that meeting of that seminar, and Dr. David Unwin was there, Keith Rathbone was there, he spoke, Dr. Joe was there. And it was really, really interesting to be able to speak in front of all these medical people. And it beggars belief whether or not they actually take anything on board as a result of what we said. But the good thing that came out of it was that my own doctor from my own surgery, and Dr. Joe again, she'd taken some of the leaflets that I produced for the meeting in the community centre. She'd taken them round some of the surgeries in Warrington. And my own doctor's surgery showed an interest. And they were sending, my own doctor was sending people to my support group. How good is that? And, you know, we never know what's going to happen. So nothing that you do is wasted. So would I say that I've got the perfect template for a support group meeting? I probably doubt it. I doubt it. I've attended Dr. David Unwin's support group meetings. Again, he does it different. Glenn and Sarah over in Leeds, they hold their meetings differently. But we need to have more meetings. We need to be able to come together. We need to be able to standardise what it is that we're doing. And I would encourage you, get in touch with your friends and your neighbours. Go on Zoom. Encourage people to come along. Come and join our Zoom meetings. Sit in. Be part of it. You know, you've all got a story. You've all got something to say. So you need to come along and say it. So anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. And I look forward to answering your questions. Thank you very much. Bye.